G'day there guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is James, and today I'm going to be showing you my method on how to make cheap and easy homemade tarpaulin or sheets like the one you're seeing on this Tiger One at home. It's a very simple method that utilizes products that can be found in any household or very cheaply and easily purchasable for people on a budget. If you do find this video helpful, please do remember to leave a like and subscription to the channel, and I really appreciate it. And stay tuned for more. Let's get into the video. And now getting into the materials that we're going to need to make these sheets. You're going to need some school glue or white glue. I have Mod Podge matte, and I actually use just Elmer's all-purpose school glue or white glue. You're going to need a piece of normal paper, just Joe Blog paper that you print on, scissors, a pair of tweezers, and the piece of model that you want to mold your sheet on. Now, what you're going to want to do, especially because we're using thin down white glue with water, you're going to want to do this before you've done any of your painting. So as you're assembling the model, you don't want to be doing this once you've finished your paint job. So do think about that before you start. Or in my case, I had a spare Tiger turret that I could use. So I actually then decided last minute to add some sheets. So that was quite handy. So now let's get into the method of actually making these things. So to get started, the first thing you're going to need to do is to mix your glue mixture. So what that is going to be is 2 parts white glue and 6 parts water. And you can see here it's just this white, milky, watery consistency, but milky color, like that, as you can see there. And what that's going to do is first it's going to let the paper get nice and wet so we can mold it quite easily on the model. And the second thing, as the glue hardens around the paper, it's going to give it a nice sturdy and clean shape. When you do, if you do decide to use different kinds of paper, just make sure that they don't have too much fluff to them, or they're nicely compressed. You don't want like very fibery paper, for example. And as you can see here, I've already cut out 3 pieces. So rectangle, a big rectangle, a small square rectangle, and finally a little triangle. And what we're going to do, using our tweezers, we're going to dip each one of these into our glue mixture and let them soak all the way through. And basically what that do, just holding it with the tweezers, just like that. You can move it around if you like, just back and forth, back and forth. And you're going to see it as it starts to get a little bit on camera. It's quite see-through. You can see my finger just about through there. And you're going to be able to see when it's nice and saturated, it's going to lose that white color and get that darker, it's hard to say, like off-white color. So just keep on keeping on. That looks good to me. That looks nice and soaked. And so once you get that soaked, you're going to want to dab it on some tissue that you have. Just dab off some of that excess water, and then we're going to bring around our piece of model. Pretty simple. And then we want to place it on, well, wherever you would like to place it on your model. For our sake, let's say we're just going to place it, I don't know, here on the back. You might say, oh, triangle, a bit of a weird shape for a cloth. That's true, but remember, we're just going for the end result. If you're going to, sometimes it's more simple just to have a piece of triangle. So now what we need to do is to shape it into something. So the easiest way to do this is using your 2 thumbs. You can press it together. It's not always that easy. Sometimes it's handier to first off use our tweezers. We can give it a fold there. Bit of a fold. If it doesn't want to stick too much, what you can do, you can take a paintbrush, get some of that mixture onto the brush, and we're going to dab it. And this is also the reason why you want to do this on either a piece that you're not going to be using or before the actual painting stage. Just dab it on, just so it's going to move more around for us. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do using my 2 thumbs, sort of just want to give it some nice creases, just like that. Sometimes it can fight you a little bit, that's okay. I'm going to fold it a bit there, like so. Push it down together. Here, we're going to push it into itself, giving it some crinkles. It's okay if the paper breaks. We can always just sort of work around that by folding it into itself Always think about how it would fall on the model or on the vehicle in real life. That's the best way to think about it. How it would fall. This is not really looking too realistic, so let's keep on pressing on with it. There we go. That's starting to be a bit better, slowly but surely. And the top is a little bit boring, as you can see there. The top there is a little bit boring, so what we're going to try to do is just keep on pushing it in. And then there we go. Using our tweezers, we can give it some more creases, some more crinkles, and push it down onto the model. And there we go. And slowly, just keep on working the paper. Keep on working that paper. And then we're slowly going to get a decent enough result. Now on camera, I'm not particularly great at doing it, but that's okay. This just gives you an idea of what you want to get. So as you can see, we have some small creases on the inside line there. We have a fold here, what looks to be a bit of a weird fold there. And that's okay. It's a bit odd, it's a bit different. And what you're going to do once you achieve the look that you want, obviously you can spend a lot more time on your piece of cloth or top or whatever and make it look more interesting by adding more folds. So I'm just going to go quickly on this one. Once you've done that, you're going to want to leave it to dry. That doesn't take forever. It can take about 30 to 40 minutes, and that's fine. And once it's dried, what we're going to be able to do, which is very handy, is take it completely off the model. So this one I've done a bit earlier. It's still a little bit wet. It's not quite ready to come off. So we're going to leave that there, and we'll come back to these later. So what we're going to do, we're going to take another piece of our paper. Let's take this little square one, drop it in there. Same thing, just running it around. Big ugly hand is in the way, but that's okay. And I've dropped it inside. That's alright, that's a good thing about having the tweezers. Just sort of rummaging through. There we go, picked it up and dropped it again. Champion. Oh yes. This is the content you're tuning in to see. There we go. Perfect. Easy. And that's nice and soaked now after me stabbing at it for a little bit, which is fine. And then we're going to bring back our piece of model, dab it on the cloth a little bit. Let's say we're going to lay it over on this side now, right? Just like so. Mostly over with a little bit of a hang, not much. And what we're going to do, this is a better example to use the thumb technique. Using your two thumbs, just sort of keep on pushing it in different angles together. Different angles, just trying to get there. Like I said, it can fight you a little bit, but that's okay. It's going to take a bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of time. That's fine. Get it on a different angle. This way it's like all folded up, just messy. You know, these guys fighting, they wouldn't have had time, especially later in the war, to fold all of their sheets very nicely, especially the Germans. So just keep on pressing around, making sure. I'm going to add a little bit more of the glue mixture on top, just like so. Just slowly. Just work with it. It takes time. You know, that's a lot of these modeling techniques. That's the main thing. You have to sit and spend a bit of time with it. It can be a bit of a pain in the neck, but oh well. I guess it's the relaxing and stressful part of the hobby at the same time, right? Just here we go. Just fiddling around. Ups. Oh, there we go. Let's make it a bit weird. Who cares? Like so. That's right. And that looks like a weirdly folded up rectangular sheet or tarpaulin or whatever. This one I've pushed up a bit, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. We just pull it right back down, like so. Done. So, now what we're going to do, we're going to let those dry a little bit. Now we're going to come back to them later and show you just how to take them off. Obviously, when you do take them off, the main thing is being nice and gentle, taking it nice and slow, and not rushing, because if you do rush, you may end up with a case of tearing some of your sheet that you've made onto the model, which can be a bit of a pain. It's easy to clean from the model, it just means you have to do it again, which we want to avoid if possible. like so. Let's add another folder. Let's make it a bit more interesting, give it some ruts. It's always good, adds character. It's the most important thing. You know, you don't want a bland flat sheet. You want something with a bit of, say, oh, well, that guy just wanted to throw it on the tank, and that's fine. Perfect. So there we go. So, guys, I'm going to leave you be. I'll be back once they're dry, and we'll have a look at some finished ones that I've already done earlier and how to remove them from the tank. Okay, see ya. Okay, guys, so now it's had a bit of time to dry, and as you can see here, it's dry to the touch. So now what you're going to need to take is either, you can have a razor blade, you don't particularly need a hobby knife, but I'm going to use a hobby knife. And what we're going to do, just very carefully, once again, the reason why it's good to do this on an unpainted model, this one is only painted just for me to mess around on, is then to put it underneath and just slowly work our way around the edge, like so. As you can see me just getting underneath that edge. And same thing here, just underneath the edge. What's going to happen is, you see, you can't maybe not be able to see it on the video, but what is happening is it's sort of being stuck to the model with a very small layer of glue. It's okay, and once you sort of start to get the edges off, it comes away quite nicely. Come on, there we go. Just slowly. There's no rush, take your time. Just take your time. Oops, there we are. Yeah, a bit more stuck here, so same thing again. So if the knife comes through, it's really not an issue in the end of the day, because later on you're going to be able to fix all that up, and once it's painted, that's going to disappear. So we're just doing the same thing, running it off where we can, just going slowly. Just getting it underneath. There's no rush. That's alright. Here I've brought some paint up with it, which is fine. It's no big drama. Bit of that edge. Let's cut off some of the excess glue holding it on. And now we can just pull it off. And now, as you can see, minus the paint, obviously, when I did mine originally, I did it on an unpainted one. It's pulled some paint with it, but it's really no drama on yours. When you do it on an unpainted model, you're not going to get any of this green stuff hanging on. If it's going to focus for us, there we go. We get a nice piece of basically pre-molded tarp. Simple. Just like that. It comes off. And once we get some paint on that, a little bit of dry brushing, a little bit of washers, whether that be enamel, acrylic, or whatever you want to use, even oils, that's going to look really nice on any vehicle that you want to put it on. So, I'm just going to show you now the other two I haven't taken off. I'm not going to go through all the mess, but you get the idea. And then later on, because it's already molded, once it's all painted up, you can imagine all we have to do is place it back on the model. And to get nice adhesion, you just put a little bit of super glue underneath. And it'll sit there exactly how it was molded in the first place. That's great. So now, what we're going to do, we're going to look at some finalized pieces that I've already made. So just coming along. Here we are. We've got 4 of them in total. 4 of them in total. One that goes over the barrel of the Tiger. I'm going to bring in the barrel of this Tiger just into view for you guys so you can see. Right there. So as you can see here, what happens is it's all open at the bottom. We just slide it over like that. And, oh, sorry, wrong way around. Flip it over. And it just sits like that, nicely on the vehicle. And as you can see there, it looks pretty decent. I'm just going to move the camera a little bit. There we go. There we go. So there you can see it sits nicely on the vehicle. Obviously, for a finalized version, you're definitely going to need to super glue these down to get that nice flush fit. So, you know, it doesn't look like it's sort of floating on the tank. Like that. We also have some other pieces here behind, which I'm just going to show you now. We have this nice big flat piece of tarp. It's only looking glossy because of the lights I'm using, but on the actual vehicle, when it's sitting in static display, it doesn't look this glossy. And if the glossiness does bother you, you can always simply take a clear matte varnish and spray it over, and that's going to completely knock that away, and you just have a nice flat tarp there. So those two that I've just shown you are completely finished. The next one I'm going to show you is this. This one, all I've done here, this has literally just been sprayed with two different slightly colors of green. So like that. So no other dry brushing, no other weathering, just that. If you wanted to brush paint those two colors of green, also no problem. Don't worry, you can also use brushes if you don't have an airbrush. So that one, and that can fit. I'll just say here, same thing, just move this one away, but pre-molded, sitting, is that the right way? No, sorry. Flip it the other way around. Sitting like that. On the hull. Just like that. Once again, you need to super glue that down if you want to have a proper final finish. And then another smaller piece here, which is also completely done. Same thing, just some dry brushing and two different paints applied and a little bit of the enamel pin washes from Tamiya. And it's all finished. So guys, that's my method for making easy homemade sheets and tarps. If you did find it helpful, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be uploading more videos of builds, unboxings, and whatever you guys would like to see from me. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!